So essentially, social media monitoring is the process of tracking social mentions, which can be specific keywords, phrases, or hashtags surrounding your business. These mentions can be about the company, as I said, an individual. So let's say the CEO of the company, the product, or the brand as a whole. So social media monitoring or social monitoring requires using specialized tools to gather qualitative and quantitative data. And this data can, of course, then inform marketing. So why exactly does social media monitoring matter? It really allows businesses to stay on top of what is being said about their brand, its competitors, and the industry on a whole. So at the end of the day, once you have customers, you can bet that they will always have opinions about your product or services, good, bad, or indifferent. And at the end of the day, it's up to you to be aware of what they're saying. So social media monitoring can help with improving your customer service. So when we're talking about things like social mentions, that is anytime someone says your brand name or if it's mentioned on social media, these things can include questions, complaints, feedback, and more. So having real-time monitoring allows your business to really provide timely responses and relevant support. It can help with community building. So monitoring your social mentions is a great way to talk to your audience. It can help you build relationships with the community, and we know right now that community building is essential to any business. It allows you to bolster your real-time marketing. So you have a lot of brands who can essentially use social media monitoring to spot opportunities and join conversations and create content almost in real time. If you are a social media manager at a company, or if you are a business owner who operates as well as a social media manager, it's really essential that you get to know your niche's thought leaders and influencers in the space. You can then create monitoring streams with their accounts, and you can use those streams as well for competitors and related brands. These streams allow you to see the conversations that are happening in your industry, and you can also keep an eye on emerging social media trends and jump into the conversations when it feels relevant to your brand. Emphasis on relevant to your brand. So an example of this is if, let's say, you are noticing that people are asking the same questions within your industry over and over, or if they're asking the same questions about a particular product or service, you can then use those insights to create an FAQ series or an overarching video about that answers that question. Something that we tend to see a lot is people talk about social listening and social monitoring, and they are similar, but they have some nuances as well. So what's the difference? So I mentioned social monitoring, which essentially focuses on tracking brand mentions, specific brand mentions and keywords around your brand, the company, and all of that. Social listening incorporates broader topics and searches and analyses to give you a high-level overview of what's being said about not just the brand, but the industry on a whole. So some key differences you may want to take into consideration is social monitoring or social mentions. You could think of it more of like on a smaller scale. It could be keep it more specific to your company and your brand. It focuses on customer service and engagement in real time. It allows you to track brand mentions and hashtags. Whereas with social listening, it focuses more on all the conversations related to your brand, products, competitors, and industries. So you can kind of consider social listening on a more macro scale. It includes a higher level and a larger scale analysis. It gathers insights as well to allow you to make more strategic decisions over a longer space and time versus social monitoring, where you're sort of engaging on an almost immediate basis. And social listening is also a bit more automated as well. If you are thinking about engaging in more social media monitoring, and I highly recommend that you do, at the end of the day, social media marketing is not a one-way street where you're just putting out the content and hoping you're expecting people to buy from you. It's a lot more encompassing than that. You should be very aware and very clear on the kind of perception that your audience has of you. What you think you are saying, or how you feel you are showing up in the public space may not necessarily be aligned with how the general public actually sees you. So monitoring what people are saying about you is essential in all of your marketing efforts. And we have a number of tools out there that allow you to engage in social media monitoring. So we have Hootsuite, Talkwalker, Agora Pulse, Mentionlytics, and Meltwater. There are lots of other tools out there as well that allow you to do that, but like I said, products like Hootsuite, Talkwalker, Agora Pulse, Mentionlytics, and Meltwater are some of the top tools that you can utilize.